Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of the Wrestling Forum live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside my good buddy Anthony Floyo. We are awaiting the arrival of Michael Bullock. If he shows up, great. If he doesn't, then we will probably have to wait sometime this week for the next edition of Wednesday Night Mayhem. So, guys, here we go. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And we're gonna hopefully entertain you guys for a little while with some wrestling. WWE Hell in a Cell went down tonight at the Thunderdome. In and here we go, guys. So with that said, we started it off with the first match of the evening, which was in well, it was a pre-show fight. Mandy Rose versus Natalia. Natalia won the match, so we normally don't talk about pre-show fights. Then our first match of the night, or the first official match of the night that we had, let's see, it was Bianca Belair versus Bayley inside a Hell in a Cell for the SmackDown Women's title, and it was Bianca Belair winning the match in 19 minutes and 45 seconds. Look, solid opener. Good start to the match. I thought that the Hell in a Cell aspect really came in really well. They did bring in weapons where I don't know if I'm a fan of having weapons inside of the Hell in a Cell, but it served its purpose. It was a good, solid fight. I mean, it was definitely a lot better than I think a lot of us expected it to be, but the outcome was never in doubt. 3.5 stars for me. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
Yeah, 3 3/4 to 4 for me. Give me a moment here. All right. Kudos to Bianca Belair and Bayley for delivering a match that was innovative and creative inside a steel structure that has been anything but in recent years. Whether it was Bayley's taped kendo sticks, the tying of Belair's hair to the ropes in a steel chair, or the EST's emphatic KOD, there was a ton to love about this one. Bayley looked like the cerebral, smart, focused former champion she is, while Belair's toughness again was on full display. She fought from underneath, proved her resilience, and earned another hard-fought victory to preserve her young title reign. The question now is where this leaves both women moving forward. Bayley is almost certainly out of the title picture after a second loss to Belair, especially given the exclamatory finish in this one. Could a program with Liv Morgan that helps elevate her be in the cards? There aren't a ton of fresh faces for her to work with on the SmackDown brand otherwise, unless the creative team renews her rivalry with returning Sasha Banks, which I personally think they will come SummerSlam, but that's just my story. As for Belair, she also faces uncertainty due to a lack of credible opponents. Lately, we have seen renewed interest in Carmella by the creative staff. Could she be in line for a showdown with Belair? Whatever the case may be, the EST figures to hold on to the Blue Brand title for the foreseeable future, especially given the effort put into building her by those in power. Performances like this one will only intensify those efforts. I'm actually gonna rate this a little bit higher than MF here. I'm gonna rate this 4.25 at the absolute best. It is one of the fights of the night for sure. So not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, what's next? I mean, Bayley's out, so who's next for the EST?
That's a very good question, Florio. I mean, we don't know. I mean, there are not really that many credible SmackDown women that, Carmella, could be an option. Liv Morgan, but yeah, SmackDown's definitely got to think of whatever could be the next option now for Bianca Belair now that Bayley is finally out of the picture. So yeah, I'm actually going to give this 4 stars. I mean, this was definitely one of the top fights of the night. Loved how the women used the Hell in a Cell structure. I mean, I know Fletch is not a big fan of the. It doesn't look like he's a big fan of weapons inside the cell, but the thing is, it's no disqualification. I mean, you could use weapons even inside the cell. I mean, we've seen it done many times before. let me just bring up one memory. And let's see if you guys both remember this. Undertaker, Mankind, that infamous moment from Hell in a Cell where they, back in 1998, they used weapons, especially those damn thumbtacks, for gosh sakes. So
yeah, but Bullock, at that time you were able to get out of the cage. You were able to throw each other off. You remember that you used to fight on the roof, for heaven's sakes. I mean, we haven't seen that anymore. You know, I know where you're coming from with that. I don't
I'm just
know.
making a point. That's all.
Yeah, but I got to make my point too, which I think that I get where you're coming from, but different time, different era. Sorry,
Well,
I kind of feel like they've watered down the Hell in Cell match, guys. Come on.
Well, I mean, you do make a point, but you know, it is what it is, as we like to say here. So 4 stars for me. I mean, there's really nothing more to say. Let's move on, Fletch.
Next up, we had was Seth Rollins versus Cesaro. Seth Rollins gets the win, 16 minutes and 15 seconds. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
From a strictly in-ring perspective, this felt like a better wrestling match than their WrestleMania showdown. The lack of a live crowd and the raw energy they greeted Cesaro's singles push definitely hurt, but the performers made up for it with physicality and good old-fashioned grappling. For all the good, though, there is one glaring issue. Cesaro lost. The Swiss superstar was, just 2 months ago, as hot a babyface as there was in WWE. Not only did he cool down significantly following WWE Creative's insistence that his feud with Seth Rollins continues, he now lost clean in the center of the ring to the former world champion. Some will suggest there is no harm in losing to someone as established as Rollins is, but in reality, the architect is creatively bulletproof. He wasn't going to be hurt by losing a second straight time to Cesaro. If anything, he will be helped long term because more established acts make for stronger opponents down the line. Instead, 50-50 booking struck again, and unless the goal is to book a rubber match between the two, further watering down the effect of Cesaro's WrestleMania victory, this served no purpose and did more damage than help. But it was still a very, very good match, though. I'll give this about 3 3/4 to 4 stars for that. So, Michael Bullock, I don't know about you, but to me, Cesaro really should have won here. Rollins was going to be fine no matter what. But at the same time, you can certainly understand they obviously want to keep this thing going and they want to set up a rubber match. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that would be unless you have, a potential rubber match between these two, which I don't know if it's going to happen. This, to me, was the wrong outcome. I mean, well, we'll find out. I mean, let's give it the benefit of the doubt before we jump to conclusions here. So, I'm not going to go really off the rail like you just did there. So, I mean, it was a good match here. So, it was a 3.5 to 4 for me. So, but let's wait and see what happens this Friday night before we decide what happens next. If they do decide to do a rubber match, so I really got nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
No, this definitely going to be a rubber match because of the fact that Cesaro already got 2 wins already on Rollins. Rollins gets 1 back. So, no, there has to be at least one more battle before these two ultimately get finished. And I get where you're coming from about that, this is bad booking, bad booking. I told you this was going to happen. We knew this was going to happen, Florio. What the hell are you talking about? We iterated this last night, and we both agreed that we both felt like Rollins was going to get the win here. So what is this about 50-50 booking and all this other bullshit you're spewing right now?
I'm sorry.
Shit.
No. I'm just trying. Look, I respect your opinion and I respect your thing, but I need to call you out because we were talking about this last night, and this is the complete opposite of what you were talking about last night.
I'm a hypocrite.
And no, I'm not calling you a hypocrite. I'm not gonna dare call you that. But what I'm trying to say is that, wait a minute, weren't you the one that felt like Rollins was gonna get the win here? Didn't we say that Rollins?
You were right. I was wrong.
Get a win here. So I was like, wait a minute, what is this? So no, the fact of the matter is, it goes like this. We all expected Rollins to win this match. Rollins won it. Now, you could talk about 50-50 booking. You could talk about, but this negates the run by Cesaro. Okay, I can give you that. And I know a lot of people are gonna go after this and say, this is horrible. Cesaro had this big thing. You were pushing him to the Universal title. Now what? No, look. Everybody's panicking for no reason. Calm down. Remember, there's a Money in the Bank next month. And that's going to have with actual fans. Now, that could be a game changer because remember, whoever has the Money in the Bank doesn't necessarily could possibly become a champion. Because think about it. The women's Money in the Bank came in play. It ended up, we ended up getting a new champion out of that. The men's Money in the Bank, it hot potatoed. Always had it first. The Miz ended up getting it, and The Miz ended up becoming a champion. Now, he ended up being transitional, but he ended up being the champion. Last year, the women's Money in the Bank, Asuka had it, and in turn, what we didn't know was Becky Lynch was pregnant at the time. Becky Lynch had to forfeit the belt, so the winner of that Money in the Bank became the Raw Women's Champion. That will not happen this year. If there's a men's and women's Money in the Bank, as of now, knock on wood, as far as the women's title goes, we haven't heard about Bianca Belair being pregnant or Rhea Ripley at the moment. That could all change. You never know. But right now, if the women's Money in the Bank comes into play this year, it'll be just to guarantee a title shot, unlike what we had about 1 year ago. So, it was a great match. I could give this 3 3/4. I get it. And I get where people are like about, Rollins and this and that. No. Remember, Cesaro got 2 wins already prior to this match. Now, I get it that people wanted Cesaro to win and make it a hat trick 3 in a row, and that would propel him. But right now, I could see one more match. Hell, have these 2 guys in Money in the Bank. If Cesaro wins Money in the Bank at that point, he goes right back up. He doesn't lose that momentum. It's a dip, but it's a blip, not a dip. So that's what I'm saying. Now, everybody's fine. You can make your own opinion. You can make whatever you feel like. But be prepared. If somebody calls you out, be prepared to have some good backup points. Floyo, I'm not trying to attack you personally, but as a journalist, you know how PTI goes. This is like part of the interruption. We could have opinions. We could have thoughts. We can have whatever you want. But be prepared. If I gotta call somebody out, I'm gonna call you out. That's like the time when you called out Michael Bullock for not giving a 5-star rating on Sasha Banks and Bayley all the way back at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, and you called him out on that. So that's all it is. That's why I have to call you out. I'm not trying to criticize you for any reason.
Oh no.
I just wanted. This is PTI. Yeah. This is like PTI. So that's all I'm going.
I just don't want a rehash of the Aaron Hernandez incident.
No. That will never happen. No.
That's what I was going for there.
Yeah, no. I just trying to, no, that's fine. No, it wasn't gonna. Trust me, I
needed a reality.
Not to stay here, but I was ready to blow my own whistle and say, "Oh, whoa, hold on, you two, time out here."
Yeah, I know.
I needed a reality. I needed a
We're gonna-
reality. Here.
Yeah.
All right, that's all right. Hey, it's fine. We don't.
I'm glad you brought. I'm glad you. Glad you brought me back to slap some sense into me on that one.
No, it's fine. I mean, like I said, you have your own opinion, so I just had to call you out on it. So that's all. So it's fair. Besides, I've had a take or two where you guys would probably disagree with me on, and you called, and I remember, Floyo, you called me out on something like that. So no, it's all good. So next up we had, guys, was Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. Charlotte Flair wins the match, but by disqualification. 14 minutes, 10 seconds. Rhea Ripley is... Oh, actually, wait, hold. I made a mistake. I jumped too quick. All right, guys, my apologies. I skipped the match.
Can't say I blame you. Can't say I blame you.
Actually, I skipped two matches. It was actually Alexa Bliss and Shayna Basler first. Alexa Bliss wins it in 7 minutes. I hear the from Anthony Floyo, so I already know where he's going with this. Michael Bullock, do you want to voice anything about it? Your thoughts on the match? Because it sounds like it's a skip all the way around.
Actually, I mean, yeah, I guess, the only thing that proves out of this, that shows why Alexa Bliss is really an unstoppable person. Now the question is, what's next for Alexa? I mean,
probably Money in the Bank.
Yeah, and maybe, and this is just my personal opinion, maybe she goes after Rhea Ripley and the Raw Women's title, because remember, guys, Alexa Bliss has some unfinished business with Rhea Ripley. Remember the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, true. But I don't think Rhea's done yet with Charlotte, and we'll get into that. But I do agree about Rhea and Alexa. But there's also another person we can also add to the equation too, Nikki Cross too.
Well, it's true. So we'll just have to wait and see how it all goes. So I'm not gonna talk about the match. That's just something I just wanted to just bring up.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm not even gonna equate or talk about the match at all. Look, it did what it needed to do. It was fine for what it was worth. I think it's just over the top now. It's getting a little ridiculous. There's certain things that I can let go, imagine, feel, whatever. But now we're getting to a point where it's just like, okay, WWE, you got to do something. I love Alexa. We all love Alexa here. There's some people out there that does. But it's gotten to the point where it's just like, it's just a little too much. It's too much hocus pocus to me.
That's the point of go away.
I hate to say it, but yeah. I mean, I get why they're trying to do this. I'm just waiting for The Fiend to come back. I want to see what The Fiend's going to do with Alexa Bliss. Because that's the thing. Remember, Alexa technically cost The Fiend a match at WrestleMania over Randy Orton. And we've had no payoff since that event. So what's going to happen now? I don't know. Anthony, quick thought, or we could just blow by this and just move on.
Well, as the Raw guy, I'm just going to sum it up by saying this. Capital D-U-D, dud. Worst fight of the night. Alexa Bliss is great with the facial expressions and has very clearly bought into the storyline. She is wholly invested in what she's doing right now, and that at the very least helps the quality of her angles and matches. But that is where the positivity ends. This was hokey, supernatural nonsense that makes the Papa Shango Ultimate Warrior schlock of 1992 cultured. It's not particularly well executed and is the sort of thing that will make fans of the industry embarrassed to show their friends. Bliss, like The Undertaker and Kane before her, believes in what she is doing, but that devotion to the character only goes so far. Eventually, the creative has to support it, or it all looks like third-rate sci-fi nonsense. We've crossed that line with this story at this point. And the worst thing of all of this, Shayna Basler has been sacrificed in its name, further devaluing someone who was the most badass, dominating woman to ever come out of NXT.
Yeah.
Since day one, what have they done with her? Nothing.
And the funniest thing was, remember, WrestleMania 2 years ago, she was fighting for the Raw Women's title
and should have won it.
And a lot of people felt like she should have won it. And then for some odd reason, they did not pull the trigger. Let Becky Lynch hold it. Let Becky Lynch hold the belt, only for her to drop it because she ended up getting pregnant. Even though we got a bigger payoff because Asuka became the champion.
This is true.
But Shayna Baszler got lost in the shuffle. Yeah, she got a nice run as WWE Women's Tag Team Champion. Yes. But other than that, I'm 100% on your side with this one, Florio. Completely 100% on your side because you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. As far as a singles competitor, Shayna Baszler has been relevant to nothing. She has, and it's absolutely, yeah. You're right. It's
a damn shame, and it's a damn shame. I mean, because this is someone that I've been high on since day one. I've been high on her since the days when she was on Team Rousey as part of the Ultimate Fighter. You remember that season, MF?
I remember. Yeah, I remember.
And the days of NXT, especially. I mean, me being the NXT guy, she was one of the most dominant NXT women's champions.
The most dominant.
You bring her up to the main roster and have her challenge for the Raw Women's title at last year's WrestleMania, and you have her lose. To me, it was.
But I understood why they wanted to do that because I honestly felt like at the time, I think they were gonna try to push her to be the Money in the Bank winner, and then maybe she would have won the Raw Women's title at that point. But once Asuka got involved, we saw how that played out. Then it became a little bit of a problem. But I think what happened was, and what really hurted her, and I'm going to be real honest with you, she was too dominant in the Elimination Chamber. Yeah. Because when she got too dominant in the Elimination Chamber, remember how the people reacted. Yeah. And I think that's what
negatively
hurted her. I think that's what hurted her. And that's why what happened.
Very, very possible. But at the end of the day, though, I mean, I don't know what there is to say. I mean, it's just a damn shame. I mean, I've been high on her since day one. I was even higher on her in NXT. Bullock had a diamond in the rough down there, and she ruled that women's division with an iron fist. And I thought maybe we were going to get a little more of the same here, but she's not the one dominating. She's the one getting dominated.
Yeah.
And I mean, the worst thing for all of this is they had to make her the third wheel in all this nonsense with Nia Jax and Ellsworth 2.0. That's the killer. That's the killer. Yeah. So, but I don't know. I mean, if it was me with all these talents, all of a sudden going back to NXT. Like your Finn Balor's and your Samoa Joes, I wouldn't mind. I mean, at this rate, why don't you just send her back down to NXT and maybe she can reclaim her dominance again. I would not have a problem with that.
You know what? I think there's a few people that kind of feels that way right about now because of the fact because look at Balor. Balor went back to NXT and he's had
a great run as NXT champion.
Yeah, he had a great run, and now you could say, and now we're all high on Samoa Joe. first night in, and he's already causing trouble.
He's now Regal's enforcer.
Yeah.
So I mean, with all these reboots, if you will, I certainly wouldn't mind if they did the same thing with Shayna. If it was me, I'd send her back down there, because I mean, it's like what Triple H infamously said 20 years ago on Tough Enough. You either want to push her or you don't. And if you don't, stop wasting her time and stop wasting our effing time. Period. Yeah. In a statement and a quotation, move on.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. All right, next up we had was Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn gets the win. 12 minutes and 40 seconds. Well, I got to say it, man. You know what? There's nothing more amazing about this. It's just these guys know how to wrestle. These guys know how to fight. They know how to go at it. The battle is amazing. The war is unbelievable. It just can't get any better. I love the storyline. This is a great battle. At the end of the day, it was a solid 3.5 star fight. Now, obviously, this is going to continue the storyline. This is going to push another level to this rivalry. And now for once, Sami Zayn's like, well, there's no more conspiracy. Now he's talking about karma. You know, that all the bad luck, everything that happened, that it was karma for Kevin Owens that he lost tonight. Sami now can play at least that card, and he'll be fine for what it was worth. I don't think there's going to be much to talk about. But like we said, big win for Sami Zayn. Look, for what it's worth, Lame Duck Man gets a huge victory here. Anthony Floyo, it's yours.
Okay. 3.5 stars. These two performers could wrestle every week for 3 months and have a unique, engaging match every time. Their chemistry between the ropes is such that they are almost guaranteed never to have a bad match, at least not at this point in their careers. Kevin Owens appeared to be hampered by the arm injury, and if it was not legit, did a hell of a job of selling it. Lately, he has taken a page from Bret Hitman Hart's playbook and demonstrated an unmatched ability to take an ass-kicking and build sympathy through it. This was no different as he put over the tenacity and ruthlessness of his former best friend en route to yet another loss. Hopefully someone on the booking team is paying attention, because there is a hell of a story to be told surrounding Owens rediscovering his edge and no longer allowing himself to be the punching bag in WWE. As for Sami Zayn, it was nice to see one of the company's low-key MVPs pick up a quality pay-per-view win. He has been extraordinary, love him or hate him, over the last year, developing a character that has been a blast to watch evolve and grow. Who knows where he goes from here, especially as a character of its type, would seemingly have a ceiling on it. But Zayn will absolutely thrive out of sheer willpower alone. 3.5 stars. I agree with MF's rating, so not much more to say. Bullock, like it or not, lame duck man. I gotta say it. I kind of think he needed this win, really.
Yeah, you can say he definitely needed this win, especially after what happened at WrestleMania, where he lost to Kevin Owens, and he probably needed this victory. But yeah, it'll definitely extend the storyline between these two. And no matter the personality of these two, I mean, they always seem to put on a really good match, and this was another fine example of it. So 3.5 stars. Fletch, let's move on.
Raw Women's title on the line. Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. Charlotte Flair wins the match. However, it was by disqualification, 14 minutes and 10 seconds. Anthony Florio, it is yours. Charlotte Flair wins the match. However, still your Raw Women's Champion, the Nightmare, Rhea Ripley.
Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley are made to wrestle each other. Their styles mesh so well. They have such solid in-ring chemistry that every match feels significant and can steal any given show. With that said, the overall rating on the match is adversely affected by two things: the storytelling and the finish. First, the finish was awful. It insulted the audience's intelligence, if only because the audience has watched countless performers throw their opponents through an announce table and face zero consequences for it. But Ripley barely hurls a piece of it at her opponent, and the righteous referee decides that's too much. Second, neither woman was particularly sympathetic. Both were presented as heels. Neither won the crowd over, and by the time Ripley demanded her title at ringside, confused viewers were left wondering which of the competitors they should be rooting for in this battle for women's wrestling supremacy. Well, most of them. I mean, Bullock and I mean, we're damn sure rooting for Rhea Ripley, especially Bullock, but that's another story. Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley are definitely not finished with each other, as evidenced by this ridiculous finish. Their differences are unsettled, and another pay-per-view match is almost a certainty, as is a superb in-ring offering. For as much as it is cool to cite nepotism for Flair's success, she is at or near the top of the list of best women's wrestlers on the planet. She could carry a broomstick to a great match. Luckily for her, Ripley is significantly better than an inanimate object and more than capable of carrying her own against the measuring stick in women's wrestling. 3.25 to 3.5 stars, I will give it. But, Michael Bullock, I mean, nowhere near as great as the WrestleMania match for the NXT title, but it was on its way to being another great match, but then this ridiculous finish. So, but then again, this is Monday Night Raw booking. What else do you friggin' expect? Give me a break.
Yeah, typical Monday Night Raw booking when you get this. So 3.5. I mean, yeah, I didn't like the ending. It was to me at the borderline BS. I mean, it was still a good match, but I just did not like the ending. I mean, but like you said, it wasn't as good, especially wasn't as good as the WrestleMania match that they had last year. So. Yeah, so obviously this is not over between these two, and hopefully we'll get a much better finish this time around. So nothing else to say. Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, no, this was a 3.5 star match. It was a good match for what it was worth. The ending was left to be desired, but they wanted to protect Charlotte Flair, and they kind of did protect Rhea Ripley. Neither really lost in this one tonight, which is understandable. And obviously, look, you got many, many, many more opportunities. There's not just one battle, one match, something down the line. You kind of have to see it in a lot of spectrums. I think we could say about it that way. At the end of the day, the outcome was what we got. Was it the right thing to do? Most likely not. But it is what it is. We got what we got, and at the end of this, we had the ultimate ending, and that was that Rhea Ripley goes in. She's still the Raw Women's Champion, which I think we can all say is a fun outcome more than anything else, and we just go from there. Main event, guys, for tonight's show, as it was for the WWE title, Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre inside Hell in a Cell. And Bobby Lashley, the Almighty, keeps the title, successfully defends it. 25 minutes, 45 seconds. Michael Bullock, you lead off on the main event of the evening.
All right, well, this to me was the fight of the night, but I can only give it 4.25 to 4.5 because, I mean, it was definitely a really good match, but one thing that really rubbed me the wrong way.
The finish. Hello.
Yeah. Bobby, come on, Jesse the Body Ventura. What did Bobby Lashley do to get the win?
Pulling the tights and getting the win.
Oh, I was waiting to hear that from you, Florio. So, yeah, I mean, and now because of this, Drew McIntyre will no longer challenge for the WWE Championship as long as Bobby Lashley is the champion. So now the question is, what's next? I mean, if this was your best superstar that had a chance to dethrone the champ, who's going to stop him now? he may hold on to that championship as long as he freaking wants to. So, yeah, 4.25, 4.5, fight of the night. I just didn't like the ending. It was just a complete and utter BS with the pulling of the tights. That's the only thing that really took the rating down some. So I don't know if there's anything else to say except Fletch. This was a good main event, but the ending just rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, it's rubbing a lot of people the wrong way. The minute that the referee got taken out, you kind of had a feeling, uh-oh, this is going to go all kinds of wrong. MVP got involved. With everything that went down, I mean, you were at one point, this was a 5-star classic. Like, it was 5 stars. And yeah, the ending literally threw a monkey wrench right in this, blowing this up to be on only a 4.5-star fight. It's still fight of night honors, but yeah, that I absolutely I can't disagree with anything you guys have said up to this point. Anthony, just off the thought of you, I can already feel that I think some harsh criticisms coming right about now, especially on the ending, because I got that Jesse vibe from you when you said it. So go ahead, Jesse. Go ahead, Ventura.
You sure you want me to go there, Monsoon? You sure you do?
Most likely not, but whatever.
What about you, Bullock? You sure about it? You sure you want this?
Hey, I can handle it.
All right. You guys want me to be the man who tells it like it is?
You know what I say, Florio? Go for it.
I'll be like Excalibur. I got to give the people what they want.
Yeah, do it.
So I'm going to do it. But I am going to find some, I'm going to get the positive stuff out of the way first. Chemistry was the theme of this year's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, as so many of the matches could be chalked up to the fact that these superstars have worked with each other so many times that they have been able to develop said chemistry over time. The same can be said for Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley, who have perfected the heavyweight hoss fight, aka be a man fight. Tonight, they threw in some weaponry, clever booking, and a great finish to enhance things. Some will find fault, all of us will find fault with Lashley utilizing a schoolboy roll-up to win a Hell in a Cell match. But therein is why it is such a creative and somewhat great finish in some people's eyes. Champion and challenger threw everything they had at their opponent, but were unable to win the bout and secure the title. So how does Lashley, the heel, retain his strap? He capitalizes on a distraction and uses the cheapest move imaginable. It's such a great screw you to the idea of a blood feud ending with an appropriate finish. Lashley builds heel heat by winning in the cheapest way imaginable, and fans feel for McIntyre, who is screwed over. The dejected McIntyre, realizing he cannot challenge for the WWE Championship as long as Lashley is champion, will likely leave the Scot to find ways to get the title off of the Almighty. Conveniently enough, with Money in the Bank up ahead, the potential for such a thing is real. Don't be surprised if Drew McIntyre, ends up winning the men's Money in the Bank ladder match next month with live fans, mind you, in Fort Worth, Texas. So, at the Frisco Arena. So we'll have to, wait and see on that. But being the man who tells it like it is here, this thing was on its way to being one of the greatest Hell in a Cell matches in history. We could have put it right up there with the end of an era. We could have put it up there with the inaugural Hell in a Cell. We could have put it up there with Taker and Mankind, Triple H and Cactus Jack. The almost 50-minute classic with Triple H and Shawn in 2004. I mean Taker and Orton that Bullock got to see in person. All the great Hell in a Cell matches, and it was on its way right there. But to pull a ridiculous, nonsensical finish like that, flagrant, and I do mean flagrant, lazy booking by WWE. That was beyond flagrant. Let's not kid ourselves. Finishes like that, I mean, and this is why Friday Night SmackDown is continuing to whoop Monday Night Raw's ass week in and week out. I mean, we have so much work to do. It is not even funny. SmackDown right now, along with NXT, are the premier brands right now. Raw is just a friggin' mess. I mean, yes, we had the fight of the night, and we had a main event. We main evented a pay-per-view for the first time since the Elimination Chamber. And, you know, I was happy about that, but I was not happy about that finish. Flagrant, lazy booking, like I said. And, you know, that's a damn shame for such a great match to end like that. A horrific ending to such a really great bout. Really. It's going to be 4.5 stars. It's going to be the fight of the night, absolutely. But, I don't know. So who's next for the Almighty? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But gentlemen, you heard it here first. I think Drew McIntyre is going to win the men's Money in the Bank match, and I think that I could see him cashing it in. Honestly, I could see him cashing it in. Honestly, but then again, with all the rumors going around right now, oh no, that's the other side. I'm sorry. Maybe they could do it one more time. Maybe they could do it at SummerSlam. I was thinking about the other show. I'm sorry about that, but
well, no, there was a rumor about one on the Raw side as well. If you're talking about SmackDown, I don't think it's going to be for SmackDown.
Oh no.
I know about the SmackDown rumor, but there was also one for Raw as well. And this one was highly anticipated too. A match that we thought we were going to get at WrestleMania, but we never got it.
No. So
it is possible.
Yeah.
But I mean, or maybe they wait till after. Maybe they do. Maybe what they'll do is, you know, maybe they do a double switch. And I know what you're talking about. You know.
Yeah, with because I think Drew's going to win the Money in the Bank. I really do.
Yeah. But because here's the thing, because I know what you're talking about. Because you're talking about the Brock Lesnar situation. Yes, there is rumors about Lesnar showing up, possibly challenging Bobby Lashley for the WWE title. Now, here's the thing. If Lesnar does win, if Drew's got Money in the Bank, he could cash that in immediately, get the belt off Lesnar, and then you'll have, at least at that point, we'll have a double, 2 title switches, and we will have Drew back on top in Vegas as WWE champion.
In front of, and finally get that long overdue crowning moment that he should have had a year ago.
Exactly. And on top of that, it would be the largest crowd to ever watch a WWE event ever. Because we're talking possibly over 100,000 plus. Because remember, this is Allegiant Stadium in Vegas.
I don't think it can hold up to 100,000.
It can.
You sure?
Trust me, it's possible. It's possible.
Okay. All right.
I would be stunned if it doesn't. I think it can.
I heard the most it could hold, I think was 72,000. I think was the most I heard it could hold.
What?
Well, that's what I saw in the capacity chart.
Now wait a minute. Are you because that has a big bowl in the thing? I think I gotta call shenanigans on that one. I think somebody's tampering with the numbers here. But I thought it could absolutely be more than. I thought you could fit more than like 80 or 90.
I thought so too. But
72?
according to the Wikipedia, it can hold 61,000 for soccer, 65,000 for football, expandable to 72,000.
Expandable to 72. What the? Well, at least the SummerSlam record is gone.
Unless they want to over dramatize it like they always do.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. because
they're gonna.
they're gonna over dramatize it. I'm pretty sure
They always do.
Even though the WrestleMania was legitly over 95,000. Yes, they said it was 100 and something thousand because they broke the actual record, but
101.
They said it was 101, but for real, actual ticket sales,
I heard about 97.
They sold over 97,000. I think it was 97,230 and 33. 97,233. It is an actual legit record. So I don't know. But I do know the SummerSlam record could fall because that was legitly 80,000. Because it was Wembley. They don't fake that. Those numbers were not fake.
80,355.
That's the actual record. That record is in jeopardy when it goes to Vegas. So that's all I'm just saying. Overall review time. I get to lead off. This was a solid show. I'll give it 7.5. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, that's about right. I mean, some things could have been better. I mean, both Hell in a Cell matches were good. Were both very good. The men's was better, even with that ridiculous finish that we didn't like. But other than that, I mean, we only had really one bad match on this show. You know where I'm going with that. All the other matches were solid to good to great. And, just some questionable booking a little bit there. But, they kept this to the point and had 3 out of the 6 matches be rather good, with only Bliss versus Basler not being so great. We may not be pleased with Charlotte versus Ripley, but the rest of the show ranged from pretty good to very good. The main criticism here is that the show did not feel like it mattered in the slightest, with more than one feud feeling like it is just going to continue. Odds are that is the case with Money in the Bank and then SummerSlam on the horizon. But at least they had a good show on the way there. So I'll give it 7.5. Why not? So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, even with the questionable booking at times, still a very good show, though. Only one really bad match other than that.
Yeah, like you said, with one bad match and a couple of questionable bookings, I still think this was a good show. Yeah, 7 to 7.5 for me as well. So there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, let's put a bow on it.
All right, so without a doubt, we're going to have to take some time off. So on Wednesday night, we'll do another edition of Wednesday Night Mayhem, Raw, and NXT. And I do believe this is going to probably be the last time we're going to have to do it.
It will.
And then the week after, it's back to normal. So then Thursday, we got is strictly sports. We got the NBA Eastern and Western Conference. Yeah, NBA Eastern Conference, Western Conference Finals.
And the big trade.
The big trade in the NBA as well. And if there's any other news, maybe, if we get it, maybe your first look at the Stanley Cup final. And I'm saying maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Because we do not know if we get there. We're gonna have
Vegas and Montreal. Vegas and Montreal are going at least 6, and so is Tampa and the Islanders.
So we'll see if the series are over by Thursday night. Then we'll give you our first opinions about it. But until then, have a good night, everybody. We'll see you guys on Wednesday for another edition of Wednesday Night Mayhem on YouTube and StreamYard.com. So long, everybody. Good night.